Thank you for being here. To the members of our association, staff, board of directors, family, and friends, I stand before you by the grace of God and the sacrifice of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I stand before you because of who has stood beside me for over 39 years, my wife, Renee. She has stood beside me during every good, bad, or ugly idea I have ever concocted. Many times she stood behind me, giving me a well-deserved kick in the pants, which I might add continues to be required with some frequency. Renee, I love you. Thirdly, I stand before you because for 10 years Mike Schlattman hounded me relentlessly to run for second VP position. Mike, during those 10 years, I was uncertain that I had the vision, experience, and ability needed to forward the goals of our organization with the same skill and leadership of our predecessors. Now, as I stand here today, I am certain that I may not have the vision, experience, and ability. However, God has blessed me with a great support system, the IAAI staff, and a board of directors that I have every confidence and trust that each and every decision will be made in the best interest of our members. Now, it was 13 years ago when Kevin, a very good friend of mine, came to work with my company. At that time, I thought it a good idea to meet face-to-face with some of our faithful clients. Our first visit was with an attorney-client friend of mine. During our visit, Kevin asked our client, why was it that he started using us for his fire investigation needs? He told us, I first met Bob while I was deposing him on a fire case. As I was asking him questions, his responses were nothing I was anticipating, and I said to myself, this guy just doesn't think right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you at this very moment, many of my friends, my family, and most assuredly, most of the current board of directors are thinking to themselves, someone else believes he doesn't think right? Add him to the list and tell us something we don't know. Well, the attorney went on to explain in very complimentary terms that my view of things doesn't necessarily follow convention and tradition, but it allows and requires a different perspective that creates an opportunity for looking at the ordinary or commonly held positions and reevaluating them, many times with new ideas and improvement. So, with that in mind, I'd like to spend my time providing you with the musings of a person who doesn't think right. I won't make everyone happy. It was rare that I could make everyone in my family of four happy, so I have no delusions that I'll make all 10,000 members of our association happy. However, decisions and directions that the board and I take will be in the best interest of our association and members as a whole. I don't tolerate the status quo. The status quo is another term for inactivity and stagnation. We, as an association, cannot remain comfortable and just maintain the status quo. Great things never came from comfort zones. Max Dupree said, we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. The IAAI can no longer ride on the coattails of past visionaries who mined and refined such jewels as the Certified Fire Investigator Program, FIT, Expert Witness Program, our regional training, our ITCs, and of course, CFItrainer.net. We must rather stand on their shoulders and look forward for the next diamond in the rough that with devotion and refining will continue to keep our organization the global leader in fire investigations and provide added value to our members. John Maynard Keynes said, the difficulty lies not so much in developing new ideas as in escaping from old ones. You see, new ideas are easy. The hard part lies in letting go of what worked 2 years ago, but may not work tomorrow. Old ways won't open new doors. As Abraham Lincoln once said, the most reliable way to predict the future is to create it. Your board is already developing new channels and vehicles to provide more training opportunities to all our members around the world. Now, COVID has exposed the inefficiencies of our current service model to our members and the fire investigation community in general. This pandemic year has taught us many things, caught us off guard, and required changes to the way we do things. Those changes forced us to adapt. They forced us to react. Looking at the role of our association that we play in the fire investigation community, I want us to be more proactive and not necessarily adapt and react to change in our industry, but rather we must influence the change. We must be that change. And we do that with creative and innovative new ideas and vehicles to serve the fire investigation community. To be creative and innovative, we must lose our fear of failure. With the confidence and trust I have in our board, we have only two options on this adventure. We will either succeed or we will learn. Disappointments are inevitable, but discouragement is a choice, and I choose to constantly look for ways to improve both personally and professionally. I will continue that mindset and apply it in service to our members. To paraphrase Jack Welch, when we were elected to our positions, we were not given a crown. We are given responsibility to serve others, our members. When we are given our respective careers, we were not given a title. We are given a responsibility to serve others. I trust our board, our staff, and the executives to be of the same heart, a heart for service to our members. To the board, leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in our charge. We serve no purpose to our members if our purpose does not serve our members. If service is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. In its simplest form, we as an association provide training to fire investigators around the world. And as an investigator, you determine the origin and cause of fires and explosions. However, without an important component, what we do as an association, or you as an investigator, provides scant value and is of little significance until we understand why we are doing what we do. I'm not speaking of understanding intellectually why we do what we do, but rather understanding why we do what we do from here, our heart, our soul, our very purpose. They say the two most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. Some of you may have heard of Simon Sinek. He has written many books on this topic, Finding Your Why and Starting with Why, to name just two. Starting in 2009, he popularized the why and was able to articulate to the world something that has existed throughout history and something I experienced 22 years earlier in 1987. I think not Mr. Sinek, but a person God placed in my life. A person I met only once, for a brief period, that changed both my personal and professional life. His name was Benjamin. In 1987, I was working as a paramedic for the fire department and navigating my new role as a father to Veronica, my daughter, who was about 4 months old. While on the job, we received a call to Benjamin's apartment. It was not far from the firehouse, so we were there rather quickly. We walked in, and I found Benjamin in his kitchen lying on the floor. My first impression was he looked like the Gerber baby. He was dressed in a powder blue onesie and looked perfect. His chubby little face, advertisers would clamor to put on a box of diapers or any baby food container. I mean, he was a really cute kid. However, Benjamin was silent. Kneeling next to Benjamin was his mother. She was rocking back and forth and repeating, "I just wanted the crying to stop. I just wanted the crying to stop," as she clutched a pillow to her chest. The pillow that she used to stop the crying. As a police officer removed the mother from the kitchen, I picked Benjamin up gently and laid him on the kitchen counter, and my crew initiated basic life support as my paramedic partner and I began advanced life support procedures. Our efforts were textbook, and everything happened with great speed, efficiency, and perfection. We established an airway for Benjamin, supplied oxygen into his tiny lungs, compressions on his tiny chest to keep his heart beating, connected a cardiac monitor, and established an IV line for life-saving drugs. I carried Benjamin down the stairs to the ambulance, continuing the compressions while another colleague provided him oxygen. I remember thinking how small and perfect Benjamin appeared and how he seemed to be the same size and age as my new daughter that was home with Renee. Riding in the ambulance to the same hospital where my daughter was born, I wondered if it was the same hospital Benjamin was born in. Could he have been my daughter's neighbor in the nursery? I wondered if it was Benjamin's parents standing at the nursery window the first time I walked up to meet my daughter. On the way to the hospital, the textbook emergency treatment continued. The telemetry to the hospital worked perfectly, radio communications was established, basic life and advanced life support continued, and the emergency doctors and crew were awaiting our arrival. At the hospital, Benjamin was handed off to the emergency room medical staff. My encounter with Benjamin was over. The emergency doctors and nurses continued to treat Benjamin for what seemed like another hour. And then, from behind the curtain of Trauma Room 1, time of death, 12:47. For weeks, I replayed that call in my head, and I spoke with my physician advisors and my paramedic coordinator multiple times. What did we do wrong? How could this happen? We did everything by the book. Why did we fail? What we did and how we performed that day didn't seem to matter. It didn't make the situation any better. And it haunted me for weeks until a few months later when Benjamin's father wanted to meet the crews that responded to his apartment that day. I met with Benjamin's father, offered my condolences, and apologized that we could not do more to help his son. He said, "No apology necessary. I'm here to thank you." He said, "Nothing you did that day could have turned back the clock and changed what happened. My family and I all know that." He went on to tell us that despite losing Benjamin the way they did, they found comfort in the professionalism, the care, the compassion, and the love given to his son in the end. It gave them solace knowing that the people that were with Benjamin during those last moments showed the love and care that he so much deserved. And that's when it crystallized for me. Benjamin wasn't our only patient or victim in that emergency. There were many other people affected who, by our actions, we were in a way caring for them as well. What we do, what you do, goes far beyond the incident itself. I learned that what I did as a profession or how I went about working in that profession did not matter and did not have value until I discovered why, until I found the purpose in my profession. And it is the same for each and every one of us. As an association, what we do and how we do it are not important and really has no value until we understand the why, the purpose of our association. I believe our purpose as an association is to equip men and women to come alongside our fellow man, to lift them up, treat them with the utmost respect, and serve them. Serve them by providing answers to the origin and cause of the life-altering fire or explosion that has invaded their world. And this association will advance that mission by using every channel available to provide those men and women the best in training and world-recognized experts, cutting-edge science, research, and technology. To my fellow investigators, not many people can do what you do. Of those that can, few want to do what you do. And of those that want to, even fewer are given the opportunity. Of those given the opportunity, fewer still grow and become successful at it. Finally, of those that are successful at it, the best become of value to those they serve. Become that value. The value of our lives is not determined by what we do for ourselves. The value of our lives is determined by what we do for others. And my prayer for you as an investigator is that you choose to be humble, are blessed with a servant's heart, a passion for the job and compassion for the people you serve. We cannot reverse the damage and devastation that a fire imposes on our fellow man, but we can serve them with care, professionalism, and compassion as we go about helping them navigate their lives in the days after a fire. May each and every one of you be of value. Embrace your Benjamin moment that illuminates your purpose, your passion, compassion, and humility. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. It is my prayer that the same humble servant's heart, passion, and compassion for the members of the IAAI be the desire of every board member as we serve you now and in the future. May God bless each and every one of you, your families, and this association. Thank you.